Hey, y'all bees, you smoke trees with. Welcome to the Real Estate Happy Hour. We're back. We just tried to go live from the other page. Guess who's back? We're going to get this started. We got some good stuff for y'all today. It's on the delay. Yeah. So let's invite some people. Inviting everybody. How y'all bees today? Welcome to the Mac. Got a new Mac on her. How y'all bees?
Yep, a new Mac.
Welcome to the real computer world. Never. Kids are learning. What they should learn. Folks are earning what they should earn. Oh, my people. How y'all be? Got some good stuff for y'all today. I got all my people around me. Everybody eating good. Put my glasses down.
Hi, CC. How are you?
What's up, CC?
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle. I can't see. I haven't heard it, Ken. Just like patience, sharing is a virtue. Show folks where you stand. Lend a hand when you can to your fellow man. Hold the plan for the day when you can work away. I want all my people around me. Everybody living good. Everybody eating good.
All right.
What's up, people? Everybody around me. I want everybody around me eating good, living good.
Yeah.
Have like a millionaires, all made by real estate. Yeah, all the people, yeah. Got some good stuff for y'all today. Some good stuff. Invite your friends, your family. You're going to learn today. Pick you up. Everybody eating good. People around me. Everybody eating good. Everybody eating good. For my brother, for myself. How y'all be? What a great day to be in the world. Want for my brother what I want for myself. I want for everybody. E-R-R. Everybody. Give me a second. We're going to get started. We got some good stuff for y'all. I'm just inviting more people. Invite your friends and family to join us. We're about to get it in. Get you a real estate happy hour drink. Ah. Ooh. Go get your ripple. Ah, go get it. Go get it. Get you a seat. Get you some snacks. I can't tell you. Can't tell you. Nah, never that. Never that. That joint's strong. That joint's strong. I might pass out before this is over, man. Be in here calling Earl. Anybody know his phone number, Earl? Man, that joint is rough. About to get it in. Yes. Got some good stuff for y'all. Got some really good stuff for y'all. Really
hey,
good
Sean,
stuff.
I asked Terry about the dates and he got some information for me, so I'll make sure I send you a text later on.
My kid, what's up, kid? How you bees? Georgia in the house. What's up, Miss Gilmore? Charles Nicholas, how you bees? My teacher. What's up, Miss Briscoe? I got you on the probate. I'll probably go over probate next week. But I got some good stuff on probate. What's up, Miss Rawson? Sir, I haven't seen you in a while, sir. My man, Antonio Downey. What's going on, champ? Angie, how you bees? Gwen Daniels. Who else we got? Miss Drayton. CC. Harriet Goldenwarm. Joyce Hatcher, hello, Tim. How y'all be? Yep, we got some good stuff. I went over this before, the target value time, your TVT, but I want to cover it again. In case some of y'all might forget. I'm going to show you how to come up with that. Then I'm going to go over the follow-up. It's important. Because a lot of people probably not following up in their business. And then what I'm going to go after over that, I'm going to go over the land trust and cut the music. Then I'm going to go over the land trust. Land trust, man, is really, really cool. Somebody was asking me about the land trust. They was asking me about the lease option rent to own. You know, what do you do to stop, from having to do a foreclosure? And that's when you can use the actual land trust. So if you got somebody doing a lease option or rent to own, you actually put a land trust in place with your lease option agreement. And the way it's set up, it'll stop you from having to do a foreclosure. All you have to do is eviction if they stop paying on their property. And I'll go more into how that works. So we're going to get started in a second, get some people more time to chime in. Can't make money without follow-up. I'm going to go over something important about follow-up. And the thing is, guys, if you follow, I guarantee you right now with the follow-up, right? If you went back and you called everybody that you contacted in the last 2 months that told you, no, we don't want the deal, or no, it's not working, or we got somebody else, just go back and call them. People's situation change. And just keep calling them until that house sells or until you get that deal. I guarantee you go back and call everybody you called within the last 2 months, all the prospects. I bet you find a deal out there. That's money on the table. You leave money on the table. And what you need to do, put your good follow-up system. I love system. Put your follow-up system in place where you actually follow up these people. I follow up with people for 4 or 5 years. I don't give a damn until you say stop calling me or stop sending me emails or stop sending letters to my house. I'm going to follow up till we actually sell a property. And even though they might not have been able to work with you at that time, they say, oh, we already got a buyer, we got a contact, we work with an agent or whatever. The fact is, things don't always go as planned. And then situations happen, people's life change, so their life might have changed. So the fact that they contact you one time, keep in touch with them until they actually get rid of the property. What's up, Tom? How you bees? Pierre, my man, how you doing? What's up, Chantel? Snyder, Rashad? Rashad, you supposed to be here, champ.
Oh, yeah, Rashad ain't here. He didn't take this to the
Yeah, you got to let us know when you're coming back this way. Miss Walker, how are you, Tracy? How are you, Tracy? Yep, the TVT, I'm going to go with your target value time. That works for you guys when I give you this in any business. Land trust is so, so cool. So if you own properties, you got tenants in there, I'll show you how to do the land trust. Hey, now. Go get you a happy hour drink. We're going to get started on this in a few seconds. I got my happy hour drink. Let's see what this is. Ooh, man, that's that ripple. That's that ripple. Sanford and Son had that junk. Fred used to drink it. That's where I got it from. I think, did we get that from Fred?
Ripple?
Yeah, Fred Sanford. Yeah, that's Ripple.
That is not a Ripple.
That's Ripple. That's Ripple.
You wish.
Guys, we about to get started. I don't know if y'all was listening to Kendrick Family Soul. We was playing not so long ago. It's all my people. We want all our people around us to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. Healthy, and wealthy, and wise. I'm going to share a lot of good stuff with you guys as usual. And I won't be able to answer my text or phone while I'm actually doing this. So if you're calling me or texting me, you're going to have to save it for later. Cool? Quite sure you understand. Y'all ready to get started? They ready to get started? Y'all ready to get started?
Yeah, we're ready.
My chat box don't work. Nobody want to talk to me. My chat box don't work because nobody want to talk to me. 5:40. We're about 10 minutes in, so we 10 minutes late. Y'all ready? We're going to go with the TVT first, the target value time. Let's do that. Can I get started? Somebody hit me up, say yes. Gilmore said yes.
Yes.
Rashad said yep. Say let's get started. What's up, David Story? How you be, champ? I think you got your license. If you got your license, holler at me, man. If not, holler at me anyway. Got something for you. Tracy Walker, yes. All right, cool. Let's get started. So you guys might want to write this down. I'll come back to it. You ain't got to. This is actually being recorded, so you can always come back and watch it whenever you get ready. So I'm going to go over the target value time, your TVT. I'm going to go over follow-up. Then I'm going to go over land trust. Cool? Cool. Now, target value time. What is your time worth? Anybody know what their time is worth for them? Huh? How much you worth an hour? How much you worth an hour?
$1 million.
$1 million? This is how you come up with your target value time. This is how you come up with your target. Let me know if you guys can see the board. Target value time. Let me know if you can see the board if I need to move it closer. I ain't got the best writing in the world. What's good? Can y'all see the board? I got all my people. You can?
Over here. Yeah.
Cool. So your target value time, you take the dollars you want to make a year. So how much you want to make a year? You take the money you want to make a year, right? Divided by 52. How many weeks in a year? How many weeks in a year? Anybody know? How many weeks? Oh, 52. Divided by 52, so 52 weeks in a year. Divided by the number of hours you want to work per week. Equal your TVT. So you take the money you want to make per year, right? Let's say we want to make $500,000. So what, $500,000? Dang, I gotta learn how to make a 5. So we want to make $500,000, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make $500,000. Hey, Mr. Fullwood, how you be, sir? I need a cigar. Tell Pete, bring me a cigar down to the real estate happy hour. So we'll make $500,000 an hour, right? So that's what your yearly income is. Divide that by 52. So if we divide that by 52, then divide it by the number of hours. Let's say we're going to work 40 hours. 52 weeks. 40 hours, we're going to come up with a target value time, $240 an hour. What's up, fella? How you bees? $240 an hour. You guys see how I do that? Let me recap that real quick. So to figure out what your time is worth, right? And actually you can do this on what you make now. Take what you make a year, divide it by 52, by the number of hours you work a year, and you're going to figure out what they paying. You're going to figure out what they think you're worth at your job. But come up with your target value time, right? Take what you want to make a year. So we say we want to make $500,000 a year. $500,000. Divided by 52 weeks. Divided by 40 hours. You can put 20 hours if you only want 20 hours. You can put 10 hours. You can put 5 hours. What's that book? The 4-Hour Work Week, or is it the 10-Hour Work Week? George Ferris. I think it's the 4-Hour Work Week by George Ferris. Really, really good book. So if you want to only work 4 hours a week, go get that book. Well, I think it might be the 10-Hour Work Week. But either way, it's a great book by George Ferris. It teach you how you get rid of all the unnecessary time. Not unnecessary time. Get rid of all the necessary things that take up too much of your time that don't produce income for you.
George Ferris? Yeah,
George Ferris. Yeah. So if you want to make $500,000 a year, $500,000 a year, you remember that's $240 out. Now ask yourself, is being on Facebook for 2 hours a day worth $240? Is taking phone calls worth your $240 out? That's when you got to ask, is the task you actually performing on a daily basis, is it worth the $240 an hour? Now, I think it's wrong. I think it's FER. So the question is, if it's no, then you want to outsource it to somebody else. So is checking your email worth $240 an hour? No. So since it's not worth your time, if it's not valuable, it's not producing you income, outsource it to somebody else. And I actually teach a class on the best way to outsource and where to find the best people to do whatever type of work you want to need. But I believe in outsourcing. That way you leverage yourself and your time. Because you can get somebody with a college degree to work for $2 an hour and be happy to work for $2 an hour. Y'all didn't hear that, did you? I said you can actually get somebody with a college degree to work for you for $2 an hour and do all the things that you don't want to do. And they'll be actually happy to work for you for $2 an hour. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? What's up, Trina, Hunter? How you be? Chi-Town, Chicago in the house. What's up, baby? I miss y'all in Chicago. I got to get back up there. Cool, cool, cool. So any questions on this so far? On your target value time. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the follow-up. Anybody got any questions on how to figure out their target value time? Anybody figured out their target value time now? Tim Ferriss. Yeah. I'm sorry. What did I say? What did I say his name was? Oh, George. Yeah, it's Tim Ferriss. For our work week. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody got any questions on how to figure out their target value time? Real recap. Figure out what you want to make a year. Divided by 52. Divided by the number of hours equal your TVT, your target value time. Cool? So can we move on? We can move on to the follow-up?
Yep.
Let me see. I got a delay. What's up, Zach? Mr. Hatcher, how you bees? Y'all ready to move on? Hit me in the chat box. Say, yeah, I got it. Everybody know that TVT? Put your TVT in your box. Let me see what your TVT is. This one, at $500,000 a year, if working 52 weeks and 40 hours a week, it's $240 an hour. Yep, so guys, let me know if I can move on or put your target value time in there. I'm going to move on from the TVT to the follow-up. What's going on, brother? How y'all bees? Cool, cool, cool. Let me get one response. Somebody say, move on or something.
My connection cut off. I hope they're still.
We still good. I hope I didn't lose you guys, did I? I'm still good on this end. So I'm going to just assume everybody got that, so I'm not getting anything in the chat box, and I'm just going to move on. So, cool. So real quick, if you just join us, figure out what your target value time is. Real quick. You figure I was trying to reconnect with the connection. $360 an hour. Wow, Tasha. Miss Gilmore making $360 an hour. You must have some huge numbers. So, like I said, take what you want to make a year, divided by 52, divided by the number of hours. Most people work 40. And that's going to equal your target value time. With the example here, if you want to make $500,000 a year, divided by 52, divided by 40, it come up with $240 an hour. I see you got $360 an hour. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I wonder what your yearly number was and how many hours you work. So wouldn't it be cool if I could teach you guys how to increase this number, right, by decreasing that number? How would you like to decrease the number of hours you work a week and increase how much you make? Wouldn't you like to do? I know how to do that. It's so simple.
Yeah. Teach us.
That's it. That's it. That's how you increase your income and decrease your hours. You leverage yourself. You leverage yourself. And I'll show you, I actually got training on that too, how you can work less and make more. Isn't that cool? So we're gonna have that training coming up sometime in the future on this real estate happy hour. Work less and make more. I'll show you exactly what you need to do to make that happen. Any questions before I move on? Oh man, let me get this ripple real quick. Oh. All right, I'm back. I joined a monster. Queen, what's up, man? My man. This is a great example of TVT. So cool. You got your TVT. We're going to move on to the follow-up. Now, follow-up is really, really important for those of you who are doing business. Now, I'm going to show you something about follow-up. Cool. So we out of here with the TVT. Boom, we out with the TVT. Now, anybody got a good follow-up system in place? Probably not, right? These numbers going to shock you guys. Now we're talking about follow-up. That's really, really important. Like I was saying before, for you, those that's like generating leads on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, go back to those leads that told you no. Go back to those leads that told you no. We already had a buyer, we already had a seller, we already had an agent, and just call them and see where they are today. Because people's situation change. Things don't always go as planned. You know how many deals fall apart? Call them. This was a follow up. This is so important. Did you know? 48% salespeople. %48 never follow up. That's huge. That's almost half. So if you're in the sales business, you can look around at your colleagues and you know that half of them won't even follow up. They'll make that first initial consultation, and that's it. So you're increasing your chances. If you got a follow-up system in place, you just eliminate half your competition by putting a follow-up system in place. Isn't that cool? Already you learned something. Already, what's up, Miss Ivy? How you be? You already learned something. Ivy, call me about that deal. I want to know how that deal went today. Ivy got a deal. So,
go, Ivy.
48% of the people never follow up. Check this out. 25% of the people actually make 25%. Where's my race? 25% make second contact, then stop.
So do you have a follow-up system in place that you're going to teach?
Am I going to teach you a follow-up system today?
Something they put together themselves?
No, I'm not going to teach that today. Do I have a follow-up system? Yes, I do. It's part of my training course. And it's in my course. Actually, the people that's part of my training, my students, they will get it. I'm not going to separate it from the course and actually teach it, but you can find a system pretty much anywhere. I mean, go to the library, read some books, go on Google, go on YouTube. You can actually find you a good follow-up system. I don't care what it is. If it have to be like postcards, get you like a accordion file. Go get your accordion file. Like everybody you talk to today, make sure it had like 12 each. Label each tab in that accordion file about a month. This is what? This is July. So label it from January to July. Everybody that you talk to in July, if you know you want to follow up with them in 3 months, July, August, September, October, you take all those files out of July and you drop them in October. So when October come around, they're already there. They remind you to follow up with those people. But the best thing right here, I love this thing right here, is Google Calendars. I love Google Calendars. You can put it in, they'll send you a reminder. So you can actually do it yourself, or you can get somebody to set it up for you where it actually teach you to follow up with those people. But I got a system in place that actually works for what we do. Yep. I'm a blogger now. Ha. Doing what you teach. Okay, there you go. Cool. So only 25% of the people make a second contact and stop. And actually, David's story, when I used to sell timeshare, he can tell you, they used to tell us, like, ask for at least 10 no's before you actually let that person leave that table. So if every time you ask for a no, increase your chance of getting that deal. If you didn't do at least 10 no's, then you was doing yourself an injustice. You know, you decrease your chances of getting that deal, right? Now, how many people you think actually, what percentage of the people you think actually make 3 contacts? Yep, there you go. Yes, sir, David. That's what we're talking about. That's how you make money, too. That's the secret to it. You know, because people going to give in after about that 6 or 7. They're going to start decaying. They're going to get tired of saying no, then they're going to turn their yes. But the great part about that, and this is in the sales, when you asking those questions, right? After that first no, you get all the objections. You get all the objections. You get all the objections. Then you get the objections out the way. You move the objections out the way. Now all the objections out the way, you ask for the sale again. Now that all the objections out the way, what they gonna say? No. You overcome all the objections. How you overcome objections? With stories, right? With David's stories. With David's stories. Okay, that's a whole different class. Hey, Dave, we got hook out. You might want to come out and talk about that, how you overcome those objections. But you overcome those objections with third-party stories. And then you just go ahead and make the sale. But that's another class on sales, and it really, really works. So, cool. Anybody know what percentage of people actually make 3 contacts or more? Anybody know? I can tell you it's about half to 25. So 12% make 3 contacts and stop. So 12% make 3 contacts and stop, right? How you doing, Ham? So 12% make 3. So 48% of the sales people never follow up. 25% of the people make 2 contacts and stop. 12% of the people make 3 contacts and stop. So do anybody want to take a guess on how many people make 4 contacts?
1%.
What? Anybody want to take a guess? Hey, you can't ask. I think you know the answer. Anybody guess? Mine is a little slow. Did anybody guess? I got to write off. That's what I'm talking about, Queen. Make that money, champ. Write that offer. Go get that money. Anybody know? Anybody? I mean, I love to see people succeed, man. Queen been doing this thing ever since he been in business. Can't touch. I think agent of the Queen? Was you agent of the year in that office for like 3 years straight or something? Man, the man been rolling. Check this out, guys. Only 10% make 3 contacts. 3 contacts or more. Now, only 10% make 3 contacts or more. So guess what? Now you just eliminated all your competition. If you're in the sales business, right, and you know these guys are contacting these people, and I'm going to tell you this is really important when it comes to probate. It's probate leads that's out there today that's just sitting out there where when they initially went to probate, everybody was calling them and mailing to them. But 1 or 2 months later, they still not ready, but guess what? The floodgates stopped. Nobody's calling these people, and they sitting there begging for somebody to help them. I'm telling you, 10, 15, 2, said 10. Yep, Tosh, you were right. Only 10% make 3 contacts or more, right? So you guys got this? You got this profile? But I'm going to erase the bottom half, but I'm staying in follow-up. So we know 48% of the salespeople never follow up. This is almost eliminating half your competition as a salesperson right there, especially in real estate. And you wonder why so many people survive when there's a lot of agents out here, because half of them don't follow up with the people, right? Especially people you sold before, man. Them should be your best friends. If you've been in the business for a while, you sold a lot of properties, and you're not in touch with your past clients on a regular, you're missing out, because you should be asking them for deals every day, all day. Now, 25% make the second contact and stop, right? 12% make 3 contacts and stop, but only 10% of salespeople make 3 or more contacts. Let me show you something good. You guys got this? I'm going to stay in follow-up, but I'm going to show you something else where this makes, hey, Sam, how you bees? Cool, Sam, you following up with them leads I gave you? Following up with them leads? So here we go. And to be totally honest, when I give out leads, I pretty much know that somebody new in the business really don't have like a follow-up system in place. So what I do, I follow up on my own. I give you that lead, and a month later, I'm following up behind you. I'm gonna see if you actually gonna follow up and follow up. So when you tell me, oh, that deal didn't pan out, that's cool. That's cool. But guess what? I'm gonna follow up behind you. Cool? Anybody got a problem with that? Probably not. Deal's a deal, right? What's up, Kate, man? How you bees? Congratulations on your job. You got the job. You're gonna be working for the Redskins, man.
Congratulations.
Next thing I know, you're gonna be wearing that uniform. Get some free tickets and everything. What's up, Jefferson Uzuma? Hope I pronounced your name right. So cool. Check this out, guys. Now we know that only 10% or 10% only make three or more contacts or more, right? Did you know that only 2% of sales are made on first contact? Isn't that crazy? Only 2% of the sales are made on the first contact. So when you actually send out that one postcard, or you call that person at one time, or you sitting down in front of somebody, you only stand a 2% chance of getting that deal. 2%. So if you never follow up, remember it was 48% that don't follow up. You only stand a 2% chance of getting that deal on the first contact, right? 48% never follow up. That's why people fail at sales. That's why people fail at sales. That's why they say it don't work. That's why they say it don't work, because they don't know. They only stand a 2% chance, and the money is in the follow-up. The money is in the follow-up. Cool? Kelly, Andrea, Cornelia, how y'all bees? Tawana down in Georgia. Cool. So now, %3 of sales are made on second contact. So, second contact, you increase your chances by 1%. So, if you only reach out to them one time, you got 2% chance. Now, let's say you call somebody, they say, "Oh, I'm not ready." Then you turned around and you followed up and you sent them a postcard. You increase your chances of getting that sale by 1%. So you went from 2% to 3%, but only 3% of the sales are made on the second contact, right? The money's in the follow. So only 3% of the sales are made on the second contact. Now, 5% hope y'all know what I meant. I ain't going to write that all out. 5% of the sales, going to bring that down. So 5% of the sales are made on the third contact, right? So those people that's following up 3 times or more, right? But remember, only 10% follow up 3 times or more. Now, only 10% follow up 3 times or more. So you increase your chances on that third contact. So even on that third contact, those people that's following up at least 3 times, they only get a 5% chance of getting that deal. But guess what? They still following up. They still following up, right? Now, this is the second, the third. Anybody know what percent they actually get on the fourth? Take a real guess before I move on. So what percent of the sales are made on the fourth contact? Remember, only 10% of the people are actually going to go to 4. Only 10% of your competitors, of your salespeople that's working with you, going to go to 4 contacts, right? So what percentage of your sales are made on the fourth contact? So we're going to leave that blank. of sales are made on the fourth contact. Anybody know what number go in there? Take a wild flying guess. 90? Ooh. Good guess, Tawana. No. Ivy say 6. Tawana say 90. 90, man. If that was the case, everybody gonna start falling up. Nah, it's not 90. Good guess though. Anybody else guess besides Tawana and Ivy? On the fourth contact, guys. What percentage of the sales you think are made on the fourth contact? There you go, Mr. Ham. Mr. Ham got it. Jerry said 40. Nope. Tasha said 7. 10%. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. 10% are made on the fourth contact. Now, check this out. The fifth two. Guys, this is going to blow your freaking mind. This is going to blow your freaking mind. I'm going to put it in here. I ain't even going to have you guess. That's crazy. 80%. If you contact these people 5 times or more, you increase your chances to 80% all the way down from 2%. That first time you talk to them, they ain't even going to be interested. And remember, this is a relationship business. When you start reaching out to people over and over again, they start getting your mail, they getting your phone calls. After about that 4th or 5th time, they're going to think they know you anyway. Oh, this is Kerry calling me again about that property. Where are we on? Oh, we still waiting on them to close. What's up, Mr. Skinner? You still doing paint? If you're doing paint, I got a commercial deal for you where they're actually looking for a multi-unit building, looking for somebody to actually come paint it. Let me know if you can handle a commercial job that large. Walter Skinner, hit me up in the private message or something. Give me a call. You can put my number in there.
Your number?
240-389-4319. 240-389-4319. Mr. Skinner, we got to. So, guys, check this out. This is ridiculously crazy, right? If you know, 48% of the people never follow up, right? 2% of the sales are made on that first contact. Only 10% of the people gonna follow up 3 or more times. So only 10% out of 100. So out of 100 people, we say salespeople, only 10 are going to be pretty much successful. And that goes back to your 80-20 rule. It took me a long time to figure out that 80-20 rule, but I mean, it's actually in any business, guy. You're going to find like 80, 20%. 20% of the people do 80% of the work, which is really, really crazy, but most of the people is not going to follow up. So 10% of the salespeople, out of 100 people, only 10 of them will make it to that final level. That's why sales is such a turnover field, because a lot of people don't get this. But you stand an 80% chance of contacting these people if you do it 5. I'm talking about getting this deal if you contact these people 5 or more times. That's crazy. If you go all the way up to 12 and 13 and 14, it probably increase your chances. So if you with your follow-up, put your system in place. You don't want to get on their nerves. You don't want to bug them, but you want to follow up. You want to keep following up till they say, hey, look, don't call me no more. Or hey, Tiffany, don't call me no more, or the house is sold, or lose my number. Until they tell you to stop, you should be contacting these people on a regular. So, anybody shocked at these numbers? Anybody shocked at these numbers besides me? Y'all get it? And y'all starting to get it now? So if you don't have a follow-up system in place, you're losing business. If you don't have a follow-up system in place, you're losing 80% of your business. You're losing 80% of your business. Sean O'Neill, what's up, Mr. O'Neill? You guys get it? You get it? Anybody get it yet? Can y'all see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
2% of the sales are made on the first contact. 3% of the sales on the second. On the third contact, only 5%. So you got to at least contact those people like 4 times if you're not doing nothing else. So definitely put you a system in place. I don't care what system you use. Put your system in place to follow up. The money is in the follow up. The money is in the follow up, guys. I can't tell you how many times somebody called me like, "Oh, we talking to another investor," and I call them back a month later. "Oh, that deal didn't work out. We don't know what we're gonna do." Yes, you do. You gonna let me come over and buy that house? That's what you're gonna do. Cool. Greg, Greg, my man. Greg, me and Greg go way back. Greg, we go way back. Greg, you still hold that record down there in Texas? Greg, my man. What's up, Greg? Had some fun with Greg, man. It's a numbers game. It's definitely a numbers game. And it's definitely in communication, guys. I mean, I can't stress it. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. If you're not following up with your prospects, man, you're missing out on it. I tell you what, do this. If you have leads and they telling you no and you just like want to get rid of those leads, send those leads to me. MarylandHousePros@gmail.com. Send those leads to me after your first contact. After you contact them the first time and they tell you no, send those leads to me. Cool? And if I close that lead 2 or 3 years later, I will send you $20.
$20?
Yep, that's it. My time is valuable. Remember my target value time? Y'all remember my target value time? Mine is actually more than 240. What's 240 times 2? That's $1 million. 240 times 2 is 480. $480 an hour. Cool, guys, you got this? Because I'm about to go into a land trust. Everybody got this? Any questions on the target value time? Any questions on the follow-up before I move on? Anybody got any questions on that? My man, there you go, Greg. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Anybody got any questions before I move on? Any questions about the target value time or any questions about the follow-up? Any questions about how you follow up, who you follow up? It depends on your business, what system actually works for you. I do have follow-up systems for realtors and real estate investors. So, guys, I'm telling you, I love technology, man. I mean, everything can be done with a computer and a laptop now. You can actually follow with everybody. You can put all your database into a system. What's it, Podio? You guys go to, I think it's free, it's still free, Podio.com. Go to Podio. Podio got a nice CRM for managing.
Is that Podio?
Podio, Podio. It's kind of complicated to set up, but you can actually, like you said, educate yourself, go on YouTube, the different sites, Google, and actually see how you actually set it up to work in your business. I know they have a free version, and they also have a paid version. The free version may not work for you, or it might limit itself at a certain amount. Also, I love Constant Contact. So if you got a database, you can upload it to Constant Contact, like on their birthdays, anniversaries. You can have it automatically send out information on your behalf, so those people won't think you forgot about it. Cool. So I'm about to move on. No questions? Everybody get it? Everybody gonna start following up?
Yeah, if they don't, you will.
Miss Akers, you want to buy a house? Cool, so no questions. It's a number game. Boom, boom, boom. So everybody get it. Before I move on, I'm about to move on to the meat and gravy. How long we been on this?
6:14.
Oh, man. Let me get some more of this ripple.
We got 15 minutes.
Woo. Man, that joint ain't no joke, man. This is Real Estate Happy Hour. Go get your real estate drink and join us for some real estate info. We here every Thursday. Invite your friends, tell your neighbors, and sell me a house. MarylandHousePros.com. You put that in there. MarylandHousePros.com. GeorgiaHousePros.com. I forgot the website. But we buy all over the nation. We buy all over the nation. And we buy the houses that nobody else will buy. So just let us know. Just let us know. So I'm gonna move on to a land trust. Cool. Everybody got this. Everybody got their happy hour drink. Let's move on. Follow up, guys. I can't stress it enough. Follow up. Follow up. Follow up. Follow up. Don't be part of that 2%. Don't be part of that 2%, man. Put yourself over here with the 10% of the people that follow up 3 times or more. You're gonna make yourself a hell of a lot more money. Cool. Let's do it. Let's move on. Cool. One of my people around me. Cool. Land trust. It's one of my favorites. What's a land trust? That ain't no 5, is it? Let me make it look like a 5. Cool. Huh? Land trust. I'm about to talk about land trust.
Go ahead.
Cool. So I'm getting the land trust and how they work and how they can protect you in this business. Yeah, we can do Florida. Definitely in Florida, Greg. I never used my VA loan either. But I can show you how you ain't even have to use that VA loan. Matter of fact, I got, was it Jacksonville? Yeah, just contact me. Get in touch with me, bro. I got you. We in Florida. You won't have to use that VA loan, then you can get a deal. Cool part about it, you can always deals out here. You ain't got to buy a market. Everything's negotiable. We don't buy nothing at retail. What part? Jacksonville, Orange County, time to hold. You know, any commercial company looking for HVAC help. Somebody just sent me a request looking for a job in HVAC. So if you guys, know anybody looking for commercial companies looking for HVAC help, definitely let me know. But I definitely will contact Michaels and Son. They're always hiring. Always. What's up, Mr. Shanklin? West Palm Beach, my man. There you go. Okay, cool. Thank you, sir. Let's go on to a land trust. Anybody know what a land trust is? Anybody know what a land trust is?
I did a show before.
No, you can't tell. Anybody ever use a land trust? Anybody know how land trusts work?
Do tell.
Now, it's different types of trust. Now, it's different types of trust. You got a land trust, you got family trust. There's so many types of trust. I'm getting specifically into a land trust. Now, you got a revocable trust and you have an irrevocable trust. An irrevocable trust, once you put it in place, it cannot be changed. A revocable trust can be changed. So it's different types of trust. I'm going to talk about the land trust. And the land trust is designed for the sole purpose of holding real estate. The sole purpose that's the main purpose of a land trust. It's the whole real estate. Palm Beach. I'm gonna be traveling to Palm Beach. We definitely got Florida. We got Georgia too. So a land trust, and I'll go over what a trust is. And it is actually one of the most important tools available to investors. And they probably don't know too much about it. I actually had to teach this class to some attorneys one time and actually explain to them exactly what is a trust and how it works. I won't be able to go deep into the details now, but guys, you definitely can get some books and educate yourself after you leave this class on on the different types of trust. So they got family trust, which is really cool, but most of the wealthy people are very familiar with trust. Now, you ever try to find like a celebrity or somebody famous? They live in that house, but you can't find them on the house or say somebody else. Most likely, they bought their house in the trust. They don't want nobody to know who actually owned it because they don't want people borrowing. Yeah, so you're right, Aubrey, where you can put the property in the trust and no one can figure out who the owner is. And it's cool. So you can actually use a trust in conjunction with an LLC and with an incorporation, and we're going to get more into it, right? So a trust can hold any type of asset, right? Including real estate, but a land trust is specifically designed to hold real estate. Cool? Any questions before I move on? We're going to get into the trust. Cool. Sole purpose it owns it. So, what makes a trust? Now, all trusts had the same elements, pretty much the same. Now, remember I say it's different types of trusts out there, but they all had the same common element in common. A beneficiary, a trustee, and the trust agreement. So all the three elements they're going to have in common. So you got different types of trusts. They could be revocable or irrevocable, but they all going to have three things in common. You're going to have the trustee, the beneficiary, and the trust agreement. So let's go over it. The beneficiary. What is a trust? How do you spell beneficiary?
BENEFICIU. BE. How you asking me then? Scooby-Doo. Yeah, BENIFICIARY. I was a spelling bee champ. It may not seem like that sometimes on Facebook. Which is autocorrect.
What grade was that?
Second.
No, that don't count. So cool. Oh, excuse me.
You're report.
So we talk about a land trust. So what makes up a trust? There are three common components in any trust, right? The beneficiary. The beneficiary is the individual or individuals who actually control the trust, right? They actually they don't own the trust. And I'm going to get more into that. They actually control the trust. So whatever the beneficiary say do with that trust, it actually has to be done with that trust. So the beneficiary actually control the trust and the holder. So they control the trust. And if I lose you, if I'm going too fast, let me know. Because I want everybody to get this. Now the trustee, which is really cool. The trustee, man, the trustee actually owns the property in the trust. Now this might get a little complicated, right? Now, the trustee is appointed by the beneficiary, but the trustee actually owns the property in the trust, but not necessarily a beneficiary of the trust. And I'm gonna get more into that. Now, he has a fiduciary duty. He has a fiduciary duty. How do you spell fiduciary?
FIDI. Fiduciary. I don't know. I'm going to check it.
That's the real estate commission.
FIDUCIARY. Do I get a prize? What they do with the spelling bee for all these words? No problem.
I don't know. So I don't know if I spelled it right. So, but the trustee, right? The trustee actually owned the property in the trust and has a fiduciary duty to the beneficiaries, right? The trustee answers to the beneficiaries. The beneficiaries tell the trustee what to do with the property. The trustee cannot act on his own behalf. The trustee has to do what the beneficiaries say. Now, the beneficiaries are the people that's going to benefit from this trust, but the trustee actually owns the property in the trust. In the trust agreement, all they do is just outline the terms. So, you know, it outlined outlined the terms of the trust agreement. It tells you, you know, who has the authority to sign and who has responsibilities, the responsibilities of the beneficiary. So it tells you the responsibilities of the beneficiary and the trustee. It points out what the trustee can and cannot do. Now, recap. 3 parts to a trust: the beneficiary, the trustee, and the trust agreement. The trust agreement lays out the terms. The beneficiaries actually control the trust, and the word benefit, they're going to be the ones that benefit from this trust. So when money starts coming in to that trust, the beneficiaries tell the trustee how to distribute that money. So that money is going to the beneficiaries. It might be 3 beneficiaries. They tell that trustee to distribute that money evenly amongst the 3 beneficiaries, right? So the beneficiaries control anything has to come up where they have to go to court or anything. If you can find that trustee, the trustee is the one that has to answer for that trust. So the trustee is responsible for paying all the bills. In the hand of the trustee. Guys, you with me so far? Am I losing you? Any questions? Sabrina Powers. How are you, Sabrina? Any questions before I start going on?
No.
So the beneficiary is the individual or individuals who actually control the trust. So, you know, they have control over the property that's in the trust. But the trustee, which has a fiduciary duty to the beneficiary, actually owns the property in the trust, but he doesn't own the trust, right? And the trust agreement just goes over, you know, the terms and everything of the trust. So any questions before I move on? I'm gonna erase all this. I'm gonna move on. The benefits, you know, of using a land trust. Any questions so far? So back to where I was talking last week about the lease with the option to buy. You get somebody in your property with a lease with an option to buy. Instead of having them do a straight contract, you do a contract where you make them the beneficiaries of this trust as long as they pay on time. You put the property in the trust. And as long as they pay you on time, they the beneficiary. This is a revocable trust. Remember, it's 2 types of trust. Revocable is more than 2 types of trust, but they can either be revocable or non-revocable. So you make this a revocable trust, and you can make this trust revocable the first time they default on the payment. So when they default on the payment, they no longer the beneficiary. The beneficiary automatically defaults back to you. So if you're doing a lease option, where they doing a lease with an option, they in there, say they in there for 5 years, and their option is in 10 years, and then after 5 years they decide they not want to pay no more. So instead you have to do a eviction and a foreclosure, because that trust automatically revoked back to you the first time they default. Now all you have to do is do the eviction. Guys, you see how this works? You see how this works? Now, that trustee has a fiduciary duty to the beneficiary. So nobody has to know who that beneficiary is. You never have to know who that beneficiary is. So any questions so far? I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna keep moving on this. Jermaine Does, what's up, Jermaine? So I'm gonna erase all this. Like I said, guys, this is being recorded. So
Jermaine, you can always get go off back. Of there. You're supposed to be coming in.
You're late. So I'm gonna go ahead and erase this, and I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna tell you some of the benefits of using a land trust. So everybody got the basics so far. Everybody got the basics. Any questions whatsoever? Yes, Miss Shauna Hughes. Sorry, I'm late. Things don't always go as planned. You can always be late. You can always be late. Things don't always go as planned. It's gonna be recorded. So no questions. Real quick. I'm gonna recap again. A land trust. A land trust is made for the sole purpose, right? The sole purpose, design purpose of holding real estate. So the sole purpose of a land trust is to hold real estate, right? What makes up a trust? The beneficiary, the trustee, and the trust agreement. Those are 3 parts of any trust, right? The trust can be either revocable or non-revocable. When you're doing a non-revocable trust, keep in mind it's non-revocable, meaning you cannot change it. So if you're setting up a trust that's paying you on a quarterly basis, paying you dividends like every 3 months, and then month 2 comes and you need some money, you can't go to that trust to get money. You cannot change that trust. You cannot change that trust. That trust is actually in place and it can't be revoked. So before you do a non-revocable trust, you want to make sure that it's actually set up right and proper for you, and that you don't have to go back and say, "Oh, I made a mistake and it's going to hurt you." So, no questions so far. Let me move on. I'm gonna go to beneficiaries of a trust. I should ask a question. We should have a test. It's gonna be a test at the end. It's gonna be a test. Whoever get all the right answers is gonna win something. Might win a happy hour drink.
Not that Kool-Aid too.
Woo, man, this ripple bar. Oh, so.
Not that ripple. It's ripple.
What? This is the benefits of a land trust. Hey. So what are the benefits of a land trust? I just told you one of them. Protect yourself when you're doing those lease options. So what are the benefits of a land trust? Now, actually, a land trust is actually the alternate form of control over property. That's how you can control a property really without owning it. You can actually control the property without owning, which is so cool. So, that's one of the best things about real estate. You'll find as you get on and on in real estate investment, if you learn how to control properties without owning them, man, it's actually a great thing. So, the benefits of a land trust, right? Oh, man, I can't get this thing open. So, one, we got, can you guys see this? Privacy of ownership. Privacy of ownership. The owner of record, right? The owner of record on the property that is held in the trust is the trust itself. So if you go down and look up who owns that trust, it's going to say the name of the trust is the owner on record. So you got privacy of ownership, right? And the trust agreement that lists the beneficiaries is not public record, right? It's not made a matter of public record. So you can actually control the property without creating any kind of public record listing you as the owner or associating you with that property, guys, in any way. Now, this was a great thing, right, if you don't like lawsuits. So if you don't like lawsuits, this is a great way to actually control properties. So you can set up a trust where it's not public record, that actually the owner of record is actually the trust itself. Now, think about it. If you were an attorney being hired to sue someone, would you, and you found would you rather take a legitimate case where the defendant is actually guilty of wrongdoing but has no assets, or a case where the defendant didn't really do anything wrong but has lots of assets? Keep in mind, when the first thing attorneys do, if you ever get sued, they're going to try to look up all your assets. And this is the thing where they get these little frugal lawsuits. Even if they know you didn't do nothing wrong, they see you own all these properties, they're going to try to come after you because they know you had the means to pay. So it might cost you more to go to court, so you end up settling out of court. Believe me, it happens. So, but if you own all these properties and it's owned by the trust, they don't know you own it. They don't know you. It's not a matter of public record. And that trustee has Come on. We back. Sorry about that. We actually lost connection for a couple of seconds and look like I'm flashing. Cool. So privacy of ownership is one of the benefits of owning a land trust, right? Now, two, ease of transfer. Ease of transfer. Now, most of the time, when you're doing title, you're transferring title, you got to actually go down, maybe to a title company, go down to the courthouse. You got to have everything recorded. And it's much easier transferring the property that you own, right? The beneficial interest in the trust is considered beneficial interest. Your beneficial interest, you're the beneficiary of that trust, is considered personal property. Right? So if you put a house in there and you're the beneficiary of that property is no longer considered real estate property, it's considered personal property. That's a lot of times as an investor, if you buying a property in a trust and you're trying to sell that trust, nobody will lend on that trust because it's not considered property, it's not considered real estate property, it's considered personal property, and they're not going to give you a loan on personal property. So a lot of times you'll have to pull that property out of trust, do what you have to do, and then put it back in the trust. So that's why I say when you're setting up trust, make sure if you're doing an irrevocable trust, that it's going to work for you forever. Because you don't want to have to come back and realize you made a mistake. So the ease of transfer. The ease of transfer, you can assign your beneficial rights over to somebody just like that. It's so simple and easy. So you don't have to go to court. It's like I said, it's not recorded or anything. You can go to your trustee and let them know that you actually getting rid of one of the beneficiaries or you adding a beneficiary. So you can assign your beneficiary rights over. So the ease of transfer, your property over. Another thing, ease control over multiple owners. Now, if a property has multiple owners, you can place the property in the trust and sign themselves as a beneficiary. Then only the trustee's signature will be required to execute documents. Now, the cool part of it is, say if you got multiple owners on a property. So if it's just a regular property like now, like say a husband and wife, in order for you to refinance, you're going to need a signature from both of those people, right? So if the husband decides he don't want to do it or the wife decide, then it's not going to happen. With the trust, if you got multiple owners on that trust, only one person has to sign for that trust. Guess who it is? That's the trustee. That's the trustee. That's the trustee, and he answers to the beneficiary. So all they have to do is get the trustee to sign. So you don't need all 10 people. You don't need all 5 people that own the property. So if you got partners on a multi-unit, say you got like a 30 unit multi-unit building.
I'm sorry.
If you got a 30 unit multi-unit building and you got partners, if you got financial partners, you guys all own it, you can own it in that trust where all 30 it's just that trustee can sign on all you, but he has a fiduciary duty to the beneficiaries to do exactly what you guys said. What's up, Miss Jones? How you be? So any questions so far, guys? So, there you can. So the benefits of a land trust, privacy of ownership. They don't have to know who owned the property. Ease of transfer. All you have to do is assign your beneficiary rights over to somebody if you want to sell. What's up, Ken? How you bees? And ease of control of multiple owners. So you don't have to get all the multiple owners there to actually sign to handle all the duties. Whatever those beneficiaries tell that trustee to do with that property, he has to do it as long as it's legal. He has to do it. Now, as far as the trustee, you can pay him a one-time fee or you can pay him a yearly fee to be a trustee. And also you can have like a backup trustee. You want that trustee want to be somebody that you can actually trust and get in contact with. A lot of times you use attorneys, but because if something come up with that property and you can't get in touch with that trustee, then you going to be up the creek. So make sure you get somebody that you can actually trust that's going to be around. So I'm going to go on. I'm going to move on. And I'm going to tell you what some of the things that the trusts are used for. We went over one of them. We use them for lease options, right? I wonder about people who will need. So what are trusts used for? So what are trusts used for? We know one, lease option. Went over this already. When you do a lease option on a property, so when you do a lease option on a property, a lot of times it gives the tenant buyer. In some states, the tenant buyer actually has a vested right, in that real estate, right? So you have to actually go through the foreclosures. You have to go through the foreclosure, but to avoid going through the foreclosures, you put you use the trust on that lease option where you make the tenant buyer the beneficiary. Where you make the tenant buyer the beneficiary. If they make all their payments on time at the end of that trust agreement, then they actually get the property. But if they don't, and this is a revocable trust. And remember, the trust agreement is going to actually state. So the first time they go delinquent on their payments, right? It automatically revoke that trust back to the owner. Now the owner is now the beneficiary. Now the owner is the beneficiary, and that will stop you from having to do a costly foreclosure. Now all you have to do is do an eviction. But if they pay on time and everything good, then they benefit at the end of that trust agreement. Guys, you with me so far? You see where this makes sense? You see how this will protect somebody? Evan Levy. What's up, Ms. Levy? Any questions? You guys still with me? I can't see you on my screen. You still with me? Still with me? Are you still with me? Let me know. Cool? All right, cool. So we know we can use it for lease options. Do it for wholesale. Oh. So you can actually do it for wholesale. Wholesale. So you can actually use it for wholesale too. Like, some financial institutions won't allow you to actually flip the property for 90 days or whatever that is. So what you can do, you can actually buy that property in the trust, and you can assign your beneficiary rights right after you close over to your new buyer for a fee. You can assign that property for a fee. Now, they never see that the property actually transferred places. They never see that on court. Remember, it's not filed at the courthouse. They can never see that their property actually was transferred. So, same thing. If you got property that you want to pass down to your kids, if you put them in a trust and make the kids the beneficiary of the trust, if they ever, get married and going through a divorce, guess what? They won't lose that property. They won't lose that property. You can make them you can put that property in a trust and have them pass it down from generation to generation. So if you wholesale, you can actually put that property in a trust to stop it from going through those season issues at 90 days, because a lot of lenders, they're going to make you go through the 90 days. So if you buy it in the trust, then you right at the table, you ain't even got to hold it. You can assign your rights to that trust before closing, actually. So you could buy the property in the trust, assign your rights to that trust right at the table, have your buyer come with the money to close and everything, and that deal is done. That deal is a done deal. Now, we're going to go make us some room here. 3, owner financing. Owner finance. Now, owner financing is cool. I love owner financing.
Me too.
Let's say you get an owner, they own their house free and clear, and they want to sell it. And, it's maybe be slightly above market, and they can't sell it right now. And they say, you know what? We need we going to move to South Carolina. We need $35,000 on the house. Say they was gonna make say they need $30,000. Let's say they was profiting $100,000 off the sale of their house, and they need $30,000. So they need $30,000. They don't need the whole $100,000. So you tell you what, say since you own this house, Mr. Owner, how about if I brought it from you over a period of time? How about if I give you $30,000 down now, and I still owe you $70,000, right? What if I gave you $1,000 a month for the next 70 months? That's $70,000, right? And why would somebody do that? You'd be surprised. People do it all the time. So they don't need their money right away. They need that $30,000, but they're going to have that residual coming in every month for the next 70 months. And you can actually set that up so if something happened to them, that money still come in and get passed on to their family members or wherever they wanted to go. So I love owner finance. So when you come out and you got these houses that's actually free and clear, or they owe very little left on their mortgage, and they can hold a note, definitely go for owner financing. Because imagine if you acquired that house for $30,000, right? You got that house for $30,000, and you turned around and you put your tenant in there. Let's say you only got to pay these guys $1,000 a month for the next 70 months. You put a tenant in there and you charge them what, $1,500, $2,000? You cash flow them right off the break. So you definitely can do it for owner financing. Yeah. So the thing is, the same reason. When you do it like that, and you paying them $1,000 a month for the next 70 months, they might not be willing to transfer a title right away. They might like, you know what? That sounds cool, but we're not transferring the title right away. We own this. We don't trust you. We don't know you. And that's when you can say, not a problem. That's when you can set the trust up, right? Revocable trust. Like, I'm going to pay you $1,000 a month for the next 70 months. After the 70 months, the trust agreement going to say after 70 months, I own the property, right? But if I stop paying somewhere within those 70 months, it automatically revokes back to the sellers. You see how that works? Guys, you with me? You understand me? You with me so far? You with me? So you got lease option, owner financing, and wholesale. And you also got one called subject to. Subject to is pretty much what it says. So if you take over somebody's payments, subject to existing financing. Let's say somebody's actually paying same thing, $1,500 a month. You say they can't afford to keep the property more, and you actually come and take it over subject to their existing finance. So all you do is come in and you take over their payments. And the bank has something called a due on sale clause, right? So they can't transfer that property right away, because they transfer that property right away, even though you're paying, the bank might say, you know what, we want everything that's owed on this property right now. So to avoid all that, you actually do a subject to, where you be taking over the payments, And you actually, same thing, you put it in a revocable trust where you actually making those payments. And at the end of those payments, the end of that trust agreement, that property actually go to you, or for some reason you default on it, it actually reverts back to the sellers. Guys, are you with me so far? Everybody getting this? Mr. Robinson, Mr. Robinson, you still giving away free trips, sir? Might be able to give one of these trips before the end of this class. So, guys, you with me so far? So, some of the benefits of the trust is the lease option, wholesaling, owner financing, and subject to. Cool? You with me? You with me? You with me? Let me know if I lost anybody. Cool. So I'm going to go into creating a land trust and some of the drawbacks of a land trust, right? You with me before I move on, before I erase the board? With me? Cool. Cool. We ain't got no questions. Is my thing up?
Nope, no questions.
No questions? Everybody understand this? Or I lost everybody? They gone?
No, I think it's still there, no questions.
How can you tell this thing?
Because it's still up, it's saying live on there. Now disconnected.
You disconnected?
You kept trying to reconnect, I don't know what's going on.
Creating a land trust. Y'all still there? Hello, world. Kid, tell what's up, man. How you bees? Who you smoke trees with, my Jamaican friend? Yeah, man. Don't answer that question. Don't answer that question. You're not supposed to incriminate yourself. Y'all still there? Y'all enjoying this? Let me know before I move on. Let me know before you go on. Jamini Mean just walked in. Jamini Mean. If you need property management, Jamini Mean got you. Y'all with me? Okay, LOL. Yes, Abby, you still there? Yeah, boy. Boy, man.
And
yeah,
Kim,
boy.
If you want, you can switch with me.
Yeah, boy. Where's my man? Yeah, boy.
Great deal.
Yeah, boys. Come join me, yeah, boy. Yep, so y'all with me. I'm going to go creating a land trust. The documents actually,
I'm about to switch to Kim.
I got the class online. I'll put it in the comments after this. Here come a man. Come on over here, Ken, the 100 grand man.
What's going on, man?
What's up, be the distraction. What's up, baby? How you be? How you be?
Good, man.
This is Ken, the man. Ken got a deal working on too, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, how easy was it to find that deal?
It wasn't hard at all. It just kind of almost fell into my lap. It was so easy. Yeah.
Ken, man, you been through some of this real estate training. You're not a licensed agent, right?
No.
You ever sold and bought property before? You just went to class and all this stuff.
Right.
It's simple and easy. Huh?
Yeah. Just pay attention and take action. That's it.
That's it. That's the biggest thing. Action. Guys, I can teach this all day. You can learn and learn and learn. Stop learning. You learn this business by doing. Don't try to learn, because once you learn something, you're going to realize that you don't know it enough. Then you're going to go learn that. Then you're going to realize you don't know enough. Then you're going to learn that. You're going to realize you don't know. You're going to be learning forever. I've been doing this for 15 years. There's so much that I don't know about this business. It's so much. If I try to learn it all before I take action, I would never, ever, ever, ever be successful. Never be successful. So definitely take action. Take action. So you want to know how to create a land trust? Y'all want to know how to create a land trust? They won't talk to me. They won't put no box. They won't put nothing in the comment chat. Maybe in your comment chat?
No,
did you get a happy hour drink? They ain't fix you no drink?
No,
man.
Not yet.
Whoo, man.
For you.
Okay.
So Ivy said yes, so she's still on board.
Okay. Ivy's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Tasha Gilmore, Miss Gilmore still there. So yeah, so creating a land trust. Remember, it's not filed at the courthouse. So how is a land trust created? Should I give him this? Oh no, what you think, man?
Sure, why not?
Miss Bliss. Huh?
Yeah, go ahead and bless him real quick.
Go ahead and bless him.
Yeah.
You think? Oh man. Oh man. Mm-mm. Ah.
Hesitate. We'll take another sip and get loosen you up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
The bartender ain't bring me nothing. Let's see how it is.
Bartender.
It's true. It's true.
Remember, the trustee actually owns the trust, but they answer to the beneficiary. They own the property and the trust, but they answer to the beneficiaries, right? So when the trustee creates a warranty deed or similar document, so when they create a warranty deed or a similar document, the trust is legally created. So when they create that warranty deed, you got a general warranty deed. So when they create that warranty deed, the trust is actually created, right? Now you must have a trust agreement in place that dictates the duties of the trustee. So you definitely gonna remember you need that trust agreement, right? And that trust agreement is actually going to dictate the duties of that trustee. You remember, you also need a beneficiary. I don't know if that's spelled right. And of course, the trustee. So you need all those things in place. So once you got a warranty deed, a trust agreement, beneficiary, and trustee, guess what? You got you have a land trust. So the trustee will have the legal title to the property, but as beneficiary, you retain nearly all the benefits of ownership. So the trustee, right? The trustee is actually has a legal title to the property, but the beneficiary has all the benefits of ownership, including the beneficial interest in the land trust. So the beneficiary really is making out on that joint. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So anytime a lawsuit or something pop up, that trustee has to go on behalf of that trust and answer that. So they still don't have to know who these beneficiaries are, and you can actually assign your beneficiary rights. So if it's like 3 or 4 y'all on the deal, let's say I want out, I can actually buy my way out from the other beneficiaries, or I can assign my rights to somebody else. And keep that in mind when you're setting up a trust. If you don't want them to assign their rights to somebody that you don't like, you want to make sure that you put in that trust that the rights are unassignable unless all beneficiaries agree in that trust. So they can't get kind of complicated, or they can be really, really, really simple. Now, the beneficiary of the land trust can be a single individual. So the beneficiary, it can be a person, it could be a group, it could be a company,
Business entity.
it could be a business. Now, this is where this get really, really cool. Let's say you have Happy Hour LLC. You got Happy Hour LLC. Happy Hour LLC can be the beneficiary of that trust, right? And so whatever documents Happy Hour LLC got in place, once the beneficiaries of that trust, doesn't matter. So any money that's coming in on that trust, when they the beneficiaries, when that money come in, it can go to Happy Hour LLC. So guys, you remember when OJ went to court, he lost that civil suit, and they just took everything this guy on. They took his trophies, they took his bank account and everything. He's like, man, this dude on the golf course every day, where is he getting his money from? With the trust, because he's the beneficiary of that trust, when he's making that money, they can't touch it. The IRS even can't touch it, because the IRS can only tax what they can see. They don't know what you're making off that trust. And matter of fact, they only know you're the beneficiary of that trust. Isn't that cool? So when you start putting these companies in place and they benefit, now you can actually form a corporation, make that corporation own an LLC, make the LLC the beneficiary of that trust. So you can see where this can get complicated when you start to trying to find properties, right? You're trying to find out who owns what. And like I said before, the attorney's going to come after the easy stuff. If they see you got 20 properties in your name, and if somebody's suing you talking about, a rat bit me in that property in Baltimore, and they go look you up, you got 50 properties in Baltimore. Like, they go look you up, and they look that property up, and they see that property is owned by a trust. They almost know. They like, you know what? It's gonna be hell trying to figure out who. First of all, who's the resident agent on that, and all the types of stuff. So they pretty much gonna leave it alone. Guess who they gonna go after? They gonna go after the person with all those properties in their name. So if you own rental properties, if you own rental properties, you want to make sure you don't own those properties in your name. You want to put those properties in like a business entity, such as an LLC or a trust. What was your question, sir?
I was going to ask you, what if you, how about if you put a lien on those properties? How would that help?
How would you, as far as your trust?
Yeah.
You know that it's still the trustee will still have to answer to that lien. If it was ever a lien put on that property, they can still put liens on the property. So, but the trustee would have to deal with that. But the trustee is going to deal with that the way that the beneficiary says deal with it. So that lien is going to have to be satisfied, one way or another. So it won't stop liens. It won't stop foreclosure. So you still will get liens on the property itself.
Okay.
Yeah. But what he was saying, as far as like you form an LLC, right? Let's say you have a house. This is a house. Well, it's supposed to be a house. You got a door. Say that's a house that you actually own, right? So what you don't own that house, the LLC own that house, right? You can take that LLC and put it in a trust, right? Where the beneficiary can be a person, a company, a business. It can be whoever. It can be whoever. But one of the things, if you own this house free and clear, let's say you don't have a mortgage on that house, right? Say you don't have a mortgage on that house. What's up, Ms. Simpson? If you don't have a mortgage on that house, you own that house free and clear. What you can do an LLC over here. Right? You can have that LLC put a lien on that property for what it's worth. And I'm not going to get too much in this. Let's say $300,000. Say the house worth $300,000. You had that LLC put a lien on that property for $300,000. Now, since that LLC got a lien on this property, you can go ahead and put that lien in the trust where you're the beneficiary. What would that do? Let's say something happens. Let's say something happened with this property. Let's say, for instance, it was like, say it was in Baltimore and the LLC on it was infested with rats. You was renting out, and all of a sudden they got 8 up with rats. They actually gonna sue you. They gonna sue this LLC, right? Well, we're gonna sue your LLC because rats bitten. Okay, they sue the LLC, and the LLC lose. They get a judgment. They get a judgment for, let's say, $150,000. So they got a judgment for $150,000, but guess what? This lien is already in place first for $300,000. First lien get priority. So now, even though they got a judgment for $150,000, they got to take care of this lien first. So after they pay this lien $300,000, it's not going to be nothing left to pay them. But guess who benefit from this lien? So even if they forced to sell this property, say they forced to sell this property, you had to sell it. They forced to sell this property. That LLC is going to get paid that $300,000 for that lien, and then whatever's left over, if anything off that sale, will go to them. And guess who the benefit of it? It's going to a trust. Do they know who the beneficiary of that trust is? They sure don't. Isn't that cool? You guys, you see how that works? Don't tell nobody. I told you that.
I ain't mean to put you in the spot where you had to tell them that, so y'all owe me one.
So he is, if he is, the house is in your name, create an LLC to make yourself the beneficiary. Well, with an LLC, is actually, you have to put the LLC in a trust. In a trust. This is another technique. I say I didn't want to don't have the IRS call me because y'all trying to hide properties and everything. So you any questions on it? But you can form an LLC. Definitely, if you owning properties and you doing rentals, even if you ain't doing rentals, definitely own those properties in a business entity. Don't own those properties in your name, because it's, when you pull up in that nice Mercedes and people think you're rich, they're gonna find a reason to sue you. They're gonna find a reason to sue you. And when you get one of these little bootleg attorneys out here say, "Oh, we'll take the case pro bono because we're gonna get like 30% of whatever you make, and you only gonna get 70, and we can sue these people for like 5-6 million because they got all these properties." And the thing is, a lot of times those guys with money, they'll settle out of court because it costs more to fight the case than it actually. And even if they win, it costs more to fight the case and win than it's actually worth. Trying to pay those attorneys to keep you out of court. Actually had them problems in the past. So we're speaking off experience. When somebody think you got money, they're gonna drag you to court for really, really dumb reasons. And a lot of times you'll find it. So like Michael Jackson, he used to settle a lot of his cases out of court, made him look guilty, but at the same time he wasn't, just because he knew for a fact that it could drag on forever and ever, and it cost him more than the case was worth to actually go fight it. So, any questions before I move on? I talk about some of the drawbacks, some of the reasons you might not want to do a trust. Any questions? You guys getting this? So everybody gonna go put their house in. Everybody gonna go put a lien on their house. Right. Get an LLC, put a lien on their house.
Beneficiary of the trust.
Actually, you can do that for a property that's not free and clear too. If you're actually buying a house now, you can actually form a company, put it like a mechanics lien. You actually have to perform a service. So it had to be a company you form to actually do something. You just can't make up some bogus, some lien and put on the house. So, we ain't even gonna get into it. I ain't gonna tell you how to do it, but
that's enough.
Yeah. Ooh, you must have done that on your property.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Huh? Nah. Guys, we gonna move on. You wanna know some of the drawbacks? Y'all wanna know some of the drawbacks? I know, right? Cool. Any questions on any of this? Any questions so far about the trust, how it works, the benefits, and how it's going to benefit somebody, how it may not benefit? We're about to go and get into the drawbacks now. Can I move on? Moving on. I'm going to move on. Did they say anything? Nobody want to talk to us, Jim?
No, they quiet.
What that mean?
Guess they really paying attention.
What that mean when they quiet?
Mr. Jovis Wood said happy hour. This hug say yep. So they paying attention.
So what's the drawbacks? What are the drawbacks?
Mr. Gilmore say yes. So soaking up the game. Zach soaking up game. So yeah, they paying attention. They responding.
Cool. I'm glad y'all still with me.
Yeah, they want you to keep going.
I'm glad y'all still with me. Y'all enjoy these Thursdays. If you so, let your friends know. Let me know. Mr. Hatchett, Ms. Gilmore, cool. So what are the drawbacks of a land trust? Can anybody think of some of the drawbacks of a land trust? Anybody know?
No comment. Ms. Gilmore said, not sure.
No liability shield. What I mean by that? While land trust will shield you from control of the property, from public view, so it's going to hide you from the public view, right? It provides no liability protection whatsoever to the beneficiary. So even though it shields you from the public eye, they don't know you actually own it. It don't protect you from liability. It being the beneficiary. If somebody slips and falls on your property, you have it in a land trust. It won't stop you from being sued. So like I said before, guys, if somebody get injured on your property, it's not going to stop you from being sued. So you definitely can get food, and it will not prevent the legitimate collections action from taking place against the property. So you can't put a property in a trust thinking you're going to stop the foreclosure. That's definitely not going to happen. So that's one of the two. Cool. So that's one of the drawbacks. So
no protection.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No liability here. Yeah, I see how that can be a problem. Remember, that trustee actually owns the property. If you don't have a reliable trustee, when you need to have documents signed related to the property, you can be down the creek without a paddle. That's why a reliable and accessible are important when you're trying to pick your trustee. You can always set it up so you can have a substitute trustee too. That's why I say it's very important when you put these documents together, forming this trust, that you actually do it at an attorney's office. So your attorney may be your trustee, but what if it's something unfortunate happened to your attorney? Say he passed away in a boating accident while he was on vacation in the Bahamas or something. Now you just lost your trustee. Now what do you do?
So are they out of the same office, these trustees?
I wouldn't do it out the same office. I definitely wouldn't do it out the same office. Actually, I would actually put like 2 or 3 backups.
Separate offices.
Yeah, so I would have my main trustee, but I would have it so, I write my trust. So if I need something done and I can't reach my trustee within a 72-hour time period, he automatically removed as my trustee. I actually move on to my second trust. And if I can't find that person within a lot of time, I move on to my third pick. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm not caught out there, up the creek without a paddle, because that's not gonna happen. But you definitely want to make sure that you're getting reliable people that you can actually contact. You don't want to get nobody that don't answer their phone, or they just transient and they moving from state to state. And you have no idea where they gonna be.
Refinancing. Can you still claim that property in your taxes and benefits?
You say when you refinance, can you claim the properties in your taxes?
Yeah, 2 separate questions. Yeah, one from Ivy. Refinancing.
Refinancing. Mm-hmm. As far as refinancing, remember a trust is considered personal property. A trust is considered personal property, so no bank or lending institution is going to refinance their property while it's in the trust. You would have to remove that property from a trust because they're not going to lend on personal property. When that property is in a trust, it's considered personal property. That's why you can't get a loan on the trust. No banks will loan on the trust. So the answer, you cannot refinance a property that's in the trust.
Can you claim
What's up, Michelle? What's up, baby? Can you claim your property on? Can you still claim that property on your taxes? Cool. That property in the trust, that property is now owned by the trust. Now the trustee is the owner of that property now, right? The beneficiary is going to benefit, but the trustee is responsible for the taxes on that property. No, you cannot claim that property on your personal taxes, and the trustee is responsible for paying the taxes on it. No, you can't claim that on your personal taxes because you're not the owner.
You just reap the benefits.
Right, you're the beneficiary. That's if you're the beneficiary. But no, you're not the owner, so no, you can't claim it on your property because you don't own it. The trustee actually owns the property, and the property's in the trust name, whatever you name the trust. So cool. So those questions cool. So cool. Now most people they are unfamiliar with land trusts and how they work. So a lot of times, if you got a property in the trust, they're gonna have like tons and tons of questions. And guys, it gets deeper than this. I just touched on pretty much, just the basic stuff of the trust and actually how it works. But I actually have some documents online, but I wouldn't even set up a trust for you guys. I do my own, but I would recommend that you go to a law firm like the Pendergraft Law Firm or something. But when you start setting, you want to know, because they're going to ask you like questions. What are your goals? And you want to make sure if you're setting up a non-revocable trust that you later on in the future you don't realize you made a mistake. So you want to be able to go back and fix whatever. So if you just started your first truck, I would definitely first truck had wheels on it. Your first trust, I would definitely make it revocable. Until you actually get to learning what you're doing and a couple of years of experience, and you realize some of the hiccups or whatever could fall in place or what could happen. And then you actually start owning maybe if you want that was it 600 room hotel that you want to pass down from generation to generation, and you want to buy that in a family trust with a non-revocable family trust, then I would definitely do that. But just to start off, I would definitely start with a revocable trust. That's pretty much it on trust, but you're going to get a lot of people that's unfamiliar. Like I said, I actually teach this to attorneys. Sometimes I actually explain to them. There's some more documents that go along with that trust agreement. It lays out what percentage of the trust is on. So it can really, really get complicated. It can really, really get complicated. So any questions before I move on? Any questions whatsoever?
No.
Any questions? Before I recap, any questions or recap what we went over today? Let me recap what we went over today. I got all my people around me. Y'all ready to go get y'all some dinner? Y'all enjoying this? Y'all want me to continue to do this every Thursday, or y'all want me to stop it? Stop it! If you think you're going to make a profit, don't see my one. No? You're not enjoying this? So we went over.
Gilmore said, yes, stop it.
Stop it. We went over TVT. This be the last. Y'all want this to be the last? Type in there, make it the last. I won't see you no more.
She corrected. Yes, keep going.
Y'all want to be the last Thursday I interrupt y'all dinner with this training? Shawty, y'all gotta go get y'all drink, man. What do you drink?
Mine's gonna be waiting on me.
Oh man, we got the real estate happy hour.
I want to get drinking before I start asking all these questions that I got for you today.
TVT. Actually, you can ask your question. We don't have to answer some of your questions. You want to share some of your questions online?
You might want to keep this one offline.
Okay. So you got your TVT. What else we went over? We went over your target value time. We went over follow-up. I got all my people around me. And we went over land trust.
The only land trust I came in a little bit late, so was it the only land trust you went over, or was there a different?
Coming on follow up.
Okay. When I came in, I heard you saying about you can do it in wholesaling, you can do it in lease options.
That was land trust.
Okay.
You want to follow up? Target value time. Remember your TVT?
So what?
That target value time.
Not worth doing, outsource it.
Yeah, that's it. Target value time is not worth doing, outsource. For those of you that's real savvy, go ahead and look up Real Estate Captive. I'm not even going to get into that, but That's really, really cool. If you really want to protect your assets, you want to figure out some of the stuff that the president of the United States is doing to stop people from digging into his business and figuring out how much money he makes, you definitely want to look into what is a real estate captive. It's really cool. I'll post some information about it probably in one of my groups, but it's really cool. Cool. Work and dinner process. Cool. So, recap, I went over the TVT, your target value time, figure out how much you want to make a year, divide it by 52, divide that by the number of hours you want to work a week, and that's going to be your target value time. And when you're sitting down and you're doing these tasks, ask yourself, is this worth my target value time? Your default answer should be no. And if it's no, you should outsource it. You should outsource that task to somebody else. Okay? Follow up. Put your system in place. Follow up. When you spend a lot of money for those leads, just to let that money slip through the cracks. When those people call you and they don't work out the first time, keep calling them over, mailing to them, keep reaching out to them, email, Facebook, text, whatever, until they tell you stop. 5 to 12 times. Remember, only 2% of the sales are made on the first contact. 80% of the sales are made between the 5th and 12th contact. So you want to increase your chances up to 80%, contact them at least 5 to 12 times. And the land trust, a land trust is a good way to control property without actually owning it. Remember, you're the beneficiary. Somebody else owned that property, but guess what? You benefit from it. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? You mean to tell me that I can own a property, somebody responsible for the maze, all I'm doing is benefiting from that? Man, that's cool. And so you got some questions? We're going to go with some. We're going to see if any questions. These the questions?
Well, it wasn't really a question. I wanted to kind of role play a situation so I can be familiar with how to handle myself when I get in that situation.
Cool. So, cool. What we going to do, guys, we're going to let you go. Ken actually got a deal that he got from doing his Project 100. Mm-hmm. So if you guys not doing your Project 100 or you're not familiar with it, let me actually see if I can find it, and I'll put it in the group. Give me a second while we talk. Can you want to talk to the people? Tell them who you are while I try to find this Project 100.
I'm Ken. I'm fairly new at real estate investing, but what held me back the most was, I believe, like you said, trying to learn everything that I could before I took this first step to do anything about it. So it wasn't until when I actually started doing and getting my feet wet that I realized, okay, you learn as you go. And I heard that before, but it didn't quite register me. I'm kind of stubborn in that area. So it wasn't until I got my feet wet and it just started coming to me after that. I started realizing what I felt comfortable with, what I didn't feel comfortable with, and just try to make adjustments as we go. So one of the other things that I'm working on now is, like you said, I wanted to kind of role play a situation to try to see what would be the best options to go about doing what needs to be done. And I'm just getting more and more comfortable, as far as real estate investing is concerned. So the main thing to take away from what I'm saying is start doing. Just get out there and just start doing it. Start making phone calls, start getting on the internet, start Craigslist, doing everything you need to do as far as what you will be taught in a class.
So I always tell people, if you make 100 phone calls, you're going to get a deal. That deal that, is that the same thing? What's that? I put it in there twice. Okay. That deal that we got down in Florida, we ain't even make right. One phone call?
Right.
It's just one phone call. I mean, guys, it's just a numbers game. It's just statistics. Statistics show if you make 100 phone calls, about 40 people gonna hang up on you. 60 people gonna talk to you. Out of that 60 people, you're gonna get 1 or 2 deals. That's it. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And one of the things with follow up, guys, remember when these people call you, as a real estate investor, right? The reason why you want to follow up, because it's a deal. When they call you, it's a deal for somebody, right? And first of all, it could be a listing for an agent. You can actually sell that lead to an agent for a marketing fee. So you can actually get a marketing fee for selling that lead to an agent. So it could be a listing for an agent. It could be a wholesale deal.
Lease option.
Right. It could be a lease option.
Seller finance.
Seller finance. What else? Or how about this? What if you say, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, you continue to pay the mortgage on this property while I rehab it. And after the rehab, we sell and split the property. So it can be a joint venture. Either way, it's a deal. You just got to figure out which road you're going to take it down. You with me, guys? Y'all follow me on this one? It's a deal for somebody. You just got to figure out where to take it. So you need to learn wholesaling. You need to learn lease options. You need to learn seller finance. Or you can just rehab it yourself. You can rehab it yourself. And how you people out here with multiple streams of income? You want multiple? Streams. You can do it all in real estate. You can have rentals. You can have wholesale deals. You can have rehab. You can have, with the lease option, you tell the owner, hey, guess what? How about if I showed you how to do this and you pay me one month's mortgage or 1 month's rent once I put the people in it? So you can have consultant. You can have all these going at the same time. You can have all these going at the same time. And then you can have the sandwich lease, what I don't even talk about. So you can get all your multiple streams of income in real estate, guys, where you can stay focused in your field. You don't have to go out here. You don't have to sell timeshare. You don't have to sell credit repair. You don't have to sell like coffee, tea, and milk. You don't have to carry groceries at the store. You can have all your money flowing right here. And guys, if you're a real estate investor already, let's say you're doing rehabs, you crazy if you don't have this wholesale side of your business set up. You need to set up that wholesale side of your business where you constantly have properties flowing in, because this is going to generate cash regardless if we rehab or not. You can always pull a property out there anytime you need it. You can always pull a property out there anytime you need it. And the cool part about this, what I didn't tell you too, if you're a rehabber and you know the business, if people out there want to learn, you can do a joint venture with them. So you can leverage yourself. What if you're a rehabber and you were teaching? Right? With your rehab, you was teaching. You teach them how to go out and get all the deals, and you just make money at the end when it was finished. So it's several ways to make multiple streams of income in this business. Exactly. Dominique, you're late. We owe Dominique. Yeah. So keep this in mind. If you're already doing the business, there's so many ways to get the multiple streams of income in real estate. You know, definitely educate yourself, guys. Get a book, man. There's so many free podcasts out here. I charge for everything. If you want my time is what you pay for. Everything else is free. I give you all this stuff for free. But if you want my time it's going to cost you. But there's so many podcasts out here that teach this stuff over and over again. There's no secret to this, none whatsoever. There's no magic trick. Enough is really, really plain and simple. It really, really, really is. The hardest part about this business
It's doing it.
It's taking that first action. Any questions before I go?
You get that fear holds
I'm
you
a
back.
busy woman, Uncle. Dominique, I want my grill. My niece owe me like $40 million. She won't pay me, y'all. Let y'all know now. I'm putting on blast. Oh, yeah. So any questions whatsoever on anything I covered today before I roll out, before I bead out? Any questions? You guys get this? You get this? So when that lead come in, if you throwing away those leads, and you're a real estate investor, you want to get with somebody that know how to do lease options. You know, when you go in and you make them that dirt lowball offer, and they like, nah, we can't take like 20% on our house. Then you need to figure out another option. So okay, so they said no to my wholesale deal, right? Let me see if they open to lease option. So they said no to lease option. Let me see if they open to seller financing. Because the thing about it, when they call you, people only want one thing. What's that one thing they want? To sell their house. They want to sell their house and get on with their life. That's it. So these are all the ways you can sell their house. If there's going to be options, you might well present them to them. Cool? Guys, on that note, I'm out. Let me see if I got any questions. I don't see any. You gave me some ideas for my line of work, Tasha. Of course. I got some really, really good stuff for you. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I love social media. I love technology. I can show you where you can generate so many leads in your field, in your business, in this business, where you never have to send another postcard. You never have to pick up the phone. The people are actually plugging in, dialing in, and begging you to sell their homes. Begging you to sell their home. You're like, huh? Really? How do you do that? Man, I'm telling you. What I love about it is no competition. Nobody having. By the time they figure out we're going to be 20 years down the line and technology is going to be left behind, we always going to be like 10 years ahead of. So let me see what I got. No more questions. Is my computer phone?
No, same here. Last was Tasha did.
Okay, cool. On that note, we out. Peace and love. You get a piece. Love it. Enjoy your real estate happy hour. Let me see what happened to my music. We got to go out with our music.
Yeah.
We got to go out with our music. Yeah, we got to go out with our music.
Yeah, just remember, it's doing. That's the hard part. Don't let that fear hold you back.
There you go. Tell them again.
Yeah, I know from experience.
I'll tell you was trying to learn it all.
Yeah, I kept coming over and over and over to the classes. I'm like, I never made a move. Just trying to see if I can soak up all the information before I feel comfortable enough. But you just got to start doing. That's all there is to it.
Yep. If you ever been to any of my classes, right? Maybe let's see. I want to get in. So if you ever been to any of my classes, and you want to come back for a refresh, you can come for free if I got the space. So once you pay for the class up first, I got your support till the day you die. So you come back for free as long as I got the space. So you can always call me and say, hey, you know what? I'm stuck. But I'm always tell you, because I give you everything, I'm going to tell you, go back and start all over. Because you have everything, I send you that whole course in the email. Go back and start from week one. You start from week one, and it's important that once you get to the end of those weeks, you got to do the homework. Don't try to skip a step. You guys good? Let me sit down here with Brother Ken. Let me see you around like a donut. I actually start on the 26th. Oh, you know what? My son started working at the Redskins Stadium on 26th. He's going to be like, you the head coach? You the head coach?
I think so. I think that's what he said on here.
Oh, man, you the head coach. The Redskins got a new coach. Got a blog about that.
Put that on social media.
Oh, man, I got to come up there and get some free happy hour drinks. Give me some free seats. We'll get everything free. Guys, I'm gonna let you in on that note. I'm out, really am. So if you have any questions, you can reach me at Maryland. Let me put that in there. Maryland House Pros. I might sound country to some people. But in the subject line, put important, or it will get probably sent to the trash. Somebody else having their happy hour out there.
You could join
them. Everybody stay warm. Stay warm. Stay cool.
Yeah, don't stay warm.
Hydrate yourself.
I was out there today, I know.
Stay away from the happy hour drinks. And on that note, I'm out. Peace and love.
All right.
Guys, get a piece. Love it. Oh, we didn't hit our music, did we?
No, not yet. Still waiting on it. There you go.
There you go. Now you need to hear this. Listen to this song. It's Kendrick's Family Soul, and it's the truth. I want all my people successful. Everybody. Matter of fact, let me put that link in there for you too.
I want all my people around me. Everybody living good. Everybody eating good. Everybody should. I want all my people around me.
Enjoy the music.
Everybody eating good.
Just gave y'all the link to it or did it?
Everybody living good. Vote for my brother, vote for mine.
I'm out. Peace and love. Y'all give peace, love it. See you next Thursday.